There's a dispersed campground in Cougar, Washington. I won't say which turnoff it is from the main road, because it may be very dangerous to camp in. Me and my family used to camp there all the time growing up. It was perfect to ride quads around and just an awesome place to get away to. Me being 26 now, I decided to go back to revisit childhood memories coming up on the turnoff. It was blocked off by a fence, so I parked and packed down the trail, walked through a small stream, and made it to the long dirt road that lead to the camp spots. Seems like people hadn't been there in years. Everything was so overgrown. The road signs were dirty, chipped, and rusty. I walked for at least an hour until I found a campsite that wasn't overgrown. Right next to the water near the end of the trail, actually, and I set up camp. The next step was the fire. I looked around for pieces of wood, twigs, and anything dry that could burn well for a good while, and thank God I was looking at the ground. If not, I might have stepped in a set bear trap. I just stuck a branch in it, snapping it closed because I didn't want another camper to step in it. That would have sucked for me and for anybody that far out in the wilderness. After gathering a good amount of fire fuel, I moved it all back to my campsite and started making a fire. The night was calm, the fire crackling and dancing across the darkness just behind the bushes and trees. The faint sound of the water rushing, stars in the sky. It was truly a perfect night. I sat out there for hours. Must have been 2 to 3 a.m. when I decided to throw the rest of the wood on the fire and hunker down for the night. I crawled into my tent ready for a peaceful sleep. I fell asleep fairly fast and only got about an hour of sleep because a blood-curdling scream woke me up, and I wasn't sure that I actually heard that. I was groggy, but still on high alert. I can only compare the scream to a death whistle looking back now. I unzipped my tent and just stared out into the early morning dark blue light. The fire smoldering, listening intently. It was quiet aside from the birds chirping and the water in the distance. I put my shoes on and crawled toward the tent door to peek my head out and look around. Nothing. Just the woods. Reaching my hand forward, I felt cold metal and looked down. The trap I'd set off yesterday was now just below my handset and ready to bite into me. What the fuck? Who the fuck, I thought. Prank or not, I grabbed my car keys, my wallet, and phone and immediately started to leave up the road. A little faster than when I had came down, occasionally looking around to make sure I wasn't being followed. I eventually made it to the small creek and crossed it. My car was in sight, so I started to speed up. 40 feet away from the road, I heard heavy splashing in the creek behind me. I turned back and saw a middle-aged, rugged man who looked like he was on meth, holding a knife, wide-eyed and trudging through the creek at me thigh-deep. He was muttering something and seemed as if he was looking through me. I didn't waste any fucking time after that. I ran as fast as I could the rest of the way, scratched myself pretty good getting around the fence. I didn't fumble my car keys either. Turning on my car and looking into the woods. The man was now sprinting towards the fence and screaming at me. Just as I take off, he aggressively pushed through the small fence opening, stumbling onto the road. I looked in my rearview mirror at him as he stood up and chased after my car. He followed, even up to the point where I bent around a corner. I notified the police, and they said they'd check it out. I gave them everything I knew, told them where they could find my campsite. What happened? Everything.